Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is part 2 of 2 of What If Tanjiro, excuse me. Oh, well, I'm all out of sorts. Sorry about that. What if Tanjiro had darkness breathing? And if you guys enjoy, please show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. And I don't want to waste much more of your time. Make sure to check the links in the description for the membership, for the Spotify, for the Discord. And with all that said, I want to get right into the what if, so let's get it. Tanjiro Kamado is, well, in a position in the Mugen train. But here's the thing. The Mugen train is filled with what seems to be demons, but we just watched Rengoku slay a couple of them in a matter of a split second. Maybe Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke being here doesn't really matter. Well, that's what they believe for a while, and at least what they believed for a good chunk of time, because eventually, well, the reality was set in that they are actually needed here, because all of them would be put under some sort of spell-like kind of sleep, and they would pass out and would be in dream-like states, leading to, well, at the end of the day, Tanjiro, excuse me, basically being in this sleep-like thing where it actually allows him to dream, but also dream of his family, the family he once lost. And for a little bit there, it made him question if any of what just happened and anything that happened was even real. That's until he starts seeing the surroundings around him get darker and darker. And then he watches everything go haywire, as if his family, he rewatches his family pass on, and he watches Nezuko turn into a demon once again. He has no idea what's happening, what's going on, and what's really ensuing throughout this kind of weird, unorthodox thing. He sees all these things happening, and eventually he's thinking to himself, he has to find a way out. He has to get out. And eventually he grabs a sword of some sorts, and he would slice through the air. And as he does this, the darkness would kind of split open and allow him to walk straight out of where he was. But he doesn't know how long he's been here. He doesn't know how long it's truly been. And when he walks out, he sees that the entirety of the train is covered in blood. And there's a demon at the front end of it, with his head cut off and slowly but surely disintegrating. He doesn't know what happened or what's going on, but he can only assume that the darkness, darkness breathing allowed him to actually still utilize his being and his ability to fight and be, a demon slayer while he was completely passed out. He doesn't know how it happened, why it happened, or what's even really happening. But it must be the combination of the darkness within the dream, like a dream-like state, but also the fact that they were in the pitch of night, but he doesn't know 100% because this has never happened before. But it seems like the dreamlike state allowed him to continue fighting and continue actually slaying demons and save a ton of these people, leading to Enmu being defeated by literally just Tanjiro himself. This would shock Tanjiro. The others, Zenitsu and Inosuke and Rengoku, would eventually awake to see that it's already handled. Everything's already done and dusted. And they're in complete and utter shock. How did this even happen? What did they do, or what did he do? In which even Nezuko watched all this happen. She smacked him with, her flames and some darkness and anything she possibly could, anything that she was gifted in terms of powers of blood demon arts. But she tries anything and wasn't able to wake him up until he started just getting up on his own, no longer having his eyes open, and in a complete kind of sleep-like state, goes out of his way and defeats demon after demon. And it's a shocker to her. It's a shocker to everyone. How was he able to do this? How did he do this? And what is even happening? I mean, seriously, how can you even explain any of this? How can any of this even be deduced? Because right here is an insane idea. This is insanity to even think that Tanjiro had this ability, and it's insanity to think he was able to utilize it, in which this does become a point of contention for a little bit, for a tad little bit, and they talk about what happened, blah, blah, blah. They get everybody outside of the train, make sure everyone is safe and secure, and they tell them, like, you know what, we're gonna get everybody and guide everybody out of here. But as they're actually bringing all of this up, well, another demon would arrive, and this is no ordinary demon. This is no demon that we know, or have known for a while. This is an upper 3 moon. One of the strongest demons to ever exist, by the name of Akaza. Akaza has no absolute kind of thoughts in his mind about letting them leave alive, and says that his only mission here was to take out Tanjiro Kamado, in which, of course, Rengoku steps up to the plate and tells him that he will not touch Tanjiro Kamado and that he has him to fight, which Tanjiro watches closely, thinking he's not sure if Rengoku can really handle this. He's not sure if he can do it on his own, but Tanjiro wonders if he should just listen to Rengoku and stay back, or should he decide to not abide by his words and step up to the plate and fight alongside the flame-breathing Hashira. Tanjiro watches for a while as they clash over and over, but in all honesty, Tanjiro can tell that Akaza is just having fun. Akaza wants to just have fun and beat on Rengoku, and Tanjiro's thinking to himself that if he doesn't do something, that things could go massively wrong. So an out of nowhere, Tanjiro would phantom step right toward Akaza and go straight for his neck, slicing into it, but not cutting through it by any means. And eventually, Tanjiro tries his best to disappear and slash again, but unfortunately is unable to actually eliminate Akaza, or unable to really defeat slash kind of take out Akaza in one foul swoop. But with the combination of him and Rengoku, it seems like they're actually able to do something. It seems like they're able to kind of take things to the next level and actually help each other borderline hold off Akaza. They're doing everything they possibly can. And this fight goes on for a while, and it's a brutal one. Tanjiro and Rengoku taking significant damage, but not deadly damage, to the point where after a long wait of fighting, Tanjiro and Rengoku still stand in front of Akaza as the sun would slowly be reaching its arrival, and Akaza eventually is forced to flee. This would lead to Tanjiro trying to gain an opening that could slay Akaza, but Rengoku tells him that this is a win. This is a win for them. That their last move, every move they've done has been to end him, but they haven't been able to do so. That risking their lives further doesn't make sense when he's going to get away. And he tells Tanjiro that this is the best they're going to get. They proved that they can go heads up with an upper 3 moon, and they proved that they could defeat one if need be as well. And he tells Tanjiro that he needs to get stronger, and that they all need to get stronger, and that includes himself. That includes Rengoku himself. He tells Tanjiro this with a straight face and then smiles. Says that it's good that they're all living, and they go help all the citizens out and get them out of there, with Tanjiro and Rengoku needing pretty decent, help in terms of kind of needing some rehabilitation and some help in terms of medical and all that. So Tanjiro gets quite a bit of that when they arrive back at the Butterfly Mansion. A lot more is needed for Tanjiro, especially because he utilized something he didn't even know how to utilize to an extent. But This would lead to Rengoku going off to meet his family to get information about sun breathing, while Tanjiro is kind of resting and under medical advisory, and eventually would get back to him about sun breathing itself, about what he can learn, and this would lead to Tanjiro during his rehabilitation to learn about those aspects, learn about what sun breathing is about, and try his best to combine it with the darkness breathing he holds. And he knows that this is going to be the peak of what he needs, the peak of what he truly can get to. And he continues to train, continues to kind of build himself up, and frankly, a lot of training is dedicated to Tanjiro because he's shown that he could genuinely stand up to some of the highest level demons, and arguably is on the same level as some Hashira, if not on the same level as a Hashira in general. So he continues his training, continues getting stronger, and continues learning more and more and more, leading him to eventually getting caught up in another bit of a mission when Tengen tries to actually kidnap some of the girls, and Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke decide to get in the middle of it, ensuing in this mission to save his wives. They disguise themselves as women and or different, like, you know, for future wives for other people, and they enter what is known as a brothel. This is when, of course, Tanjiro would meet various people and meet new people that, well, they're gonna have to protect to a certain degree. But not only does Tanjiro basically go through certain things and certain people and talk to certain people, Zenitsu and Inosuke are dealing with a demon by the name of Daki as well, someone that Tanjiro will face off with very, very soon. And when they face off, Tanjiro makes it very apparent that him and Daki are not on the same level. With the ability of his darkness breathing, and on top of that, with his kind of usage of now the Hinokami Kagura or Hinokami Kagura, it seems as if the combination is making for a lethal attack, where he kind of combines Phantom Step with the art of sun breathing, leading to him slashing and clashing and slicing off the neck of Daki quicker than you can think of. But as he does this, he would be the first person to see that this is not the only demon within, because Gyutaro, another demon, would begin crawling out and would begin looking at Tanjiro like he made the biggest mistake of his life, and immediately would go and attack Tanjiro, taking one of his dagger-like scythes and trying to dig it within his eye. As this happens, the dagger would hit him in the eye, but then Tanjiro would poof out of nothingness, the darkness consuming it once again, and him being him disappearing within the veil of darkness, or a smoke screen, to basically evade the attack. Of course, Tengen would get a whiff of what's happening, and he would join the battle as well, leading to Inosuke and Zenitsu joining not too long after. But Tanjiro tells him to basically be wary of those daggers. They seem to have poison dripping from them, or some sort of poison. This would lead to also Nezuko joining in as well, helping the likes of Zenitsu and Inosuke as she awakens even a new form for herself, and even further powers that have been granted to her via the darkness itself. And it seems like Tanjiro and Tengen will take on Gyutaro all on their own. A 2 versus 1 and a 3 versus 1 on the back end. It seems as if they have the numbers, and normally the demons would have the advantage with the night sky above them. But this time around, Tanjiro makes it clear that the night sky benefits him just as much as it benefits them. And he would go head to head with Gyutaro, slicing and dicing through him, eventually unveiling multiple ways of utilizing not only the third form Veil of Dusk, but his ability to utilize his first, second, and fourth form all together to basically dash or phantom step toward them and utilize the first and the second form, Phantom Crescent Slash and Blackout Spiral. And as he does this, and as he slices through Gyutaro on multiple occasions, it gives openings for Tengen, and as Tengen gets those openings, he finally finds the neck of Gyutaro, slicing through it But of course, they have to slice through the neck of Daki as well, as Tanjiro would look over to the side and phantom step over there, immediately slicing through the neck and having the help of not only Inosuke and Zenitsu, but of Nezuko as well, giving him the opening to slice through. And as both of their heads would smack on the ground, finally the defeat of another high-ranking demon would ensue. And let's just say, the Demon Slayers all around, every last one of them, would begin to feel a little bit more confident. Confidence will arrive and rise among all of them. And it seems like every single time, every single thing, and every single moment, their confidence continues to surge, including all the Demon Slayers and all the Hashira, because it seems like it's actually going their way. And the demons believe that they have to find some sort of opening, an opening that will allow them to really take that next step. And yes, Tengen does decide to retire on the wishes of his wives, but Tanjiro continues his training, and they look at him as the potential next up-and-coming Hashira, if not the next Hashira himself. So they begin to train him that way, train him to be that next Hashira known as the Darkness Hashira. And this right here is something Tanjiro has been waiting for, but also at the same time, his ability to train with sun breathing seems to get more and more obscure, or more and more kind of less. And as he tries to do both, as he tries to learn both, he does his best to do so, but it's extremely difficult, leading to him to heavily kind of lean into the darkness breathing, coming up with some brand new forms, and a form that really could change things forever. Now, as this training is going on, as all this is occurring, let's just say some things are happening at the Swordsmith's village that nobody truly knows about. Not until they hear a crow begin to come out of nowhere, cawing and screaming, and basically telling them, and Tanjiro would be in the midst of training, be in the midst of getting more powerful and strong, and as he looks toward basically another Hashira, as he looks toward the stone Hashira, he gets a bit of a head, like a nod of a head, and Tanjiro sheathes his sword, and he would disappear into the night sky. As this happens, Tanjiro would be on the way to the Swordsmith's village, and this would include Nezuko running right beside him. Nezuko actually becoming part of the darkness as well. It seems like Tanjiro and Nezuko will be there shortly, but will they have enough time to get there before anyone falls victim to these demons? And as they arrive, they see that, well, one of the Hashira by the name of Muchiro is actually taking on a demon by the name of Gyoko. But as this is happening, Tanjiro goes to help out with a demon by the name of Hantengu, and this demon would already be in his kind of lightning-esque form, or one of his stronger based forms, and Tanjiro would come out of nowhere within the darkness and slice through him in one foul swoop, as Genya and Mitsuri watch closely as Tanjiro not only was able to fend off other things that occurred, but also fend off the demon that they've been struggling with. This would lead to Hantengu taking on like his anger-like form, or his form that really takes things to that next level. And frankly, let's just say Tanjiro's not 100% sure how this thing is even going to work, or what the hell is even going on. But he would eventually come to the conclusion that Hantengu is made up of different personalities, that Hantengu must be made up of various personalities that eventually lead him to that final personality. Yes, he just sliced through the hatred personality, but now he's dealing with a different one. Now he's dealing with one of resentment, one that of what seems to be fueled by utter anger, it seems, even more than the one that is truly made of anger itself. And this is a shocker for Tanjiro, as he feels like there is so much more that he needs to get done, and he doesn't know what's happening. It's one after another and one after another. Then he thinks about it. There must be another one. Anger, pleasure, sorrow, joy, hatred, resentment, and all those manifestations have to be protecting fear. And this makes him think, where would fear be? And he thinks to himself, right there, within the chest, hiding behind every last one of them. And Tanjiro plants his sword in the ground as resentment goes to grab him, and he stops it. All the darkness begins to close in and close off. The lights that were surrounding them, the lights that were coming from buildings and fires, gone. Darkness consuming them once again. And all it was, and all you can see, is black, silence, blur, darkness, everything. And Tanjiro, well, he tells this demon that he may enjoy the darkness. He may believe that it's here to save him and the only way he can fight. But Tanjiro himself, he would say, I also thrive in it just as much. Tanjiro sheathes his sword, the one that he planted in the ground, and pulls it out once again and says, final form, eternal night, black void. And as he says this, he would out of nowhere become a blur, unable to be seen entirely, as he slices through the demon, from the chest, through the neck, through the body, through everything. He knows that there's one little tiny scared and fearful demon living within, and he knows that he will make contact. And as he slices through, he would cut through entirely, leading to the black void disappearing, and that small tiny demon running away for his life as the sun would begin to rise. The little demon would run away, and Tanjiro would go chasing after it, immediately chasing after it. And all he needs is one last slice. And as he does, and as he thinks of this, and as he basically is about to get there, he looks at that small demon, and he says that it's completely over. And he says, darkness breathing, sixth form, eclipse guillotine. As immediately he would dash forward, slicing through the neck and completely chopping the head off the demon and defeating all versions, and well, the main version, what matters, of Hantengu. And now the demon has been slayed, and now this fight at the Swordsmith's village is over and done with. And everybody seems to be in a safe space, and everybody seems to be in utter safety. And as Tanjiro would turn around, he could see Nezuko standing out in the sun, covered or at least enshrouded by darkness to an extent. And she may not in a traditional sense conquer the sun, but she has proven to Muzan that she can protect herself from it, and ensuing in a way of conquering it as well. And Tanjiro's in shock, thinking that this can't be real, but Muzan sees this as an opportunity to hunt down his only way of conquering the sun, and he knows it needs to be done. Now, obviously, the other Demon Slayers know what's to come next, know that this is their final chance, so training would ensue. From Hashira to Hashira, Tanjiro and many others train with them all. And even some people train with Tanjiro specifically to get better at defeating people that thrive within the darkness. And they basically trial every aspect they can think of and trial every aspect they know. And soon, before you know it, Muzan would be confronting Ubuyashiki, and one explosion will change the course of the battle for the rest of their lives. And as one explosion goes off, the Demon Slayers now know that the final battle has truly begun, and Tanjiro looks to have his final stand and stand in with the one and only Muzan Kibutsuji, and he knows that this is the final battle for them or the final battle for the Demon Slayers. Either one. This is for humanity. This is for the rest of every citizen that ever lived. And it all depends on the Demon Slayers surviving and defeating what is known as the Infinity Castle. But that is where we're going to end this story for now. This is, well, where I leave off, and I feel like I bring it up all the time when I talk about this. I don't go into the Infinity Castle. Once that movie comes out, I most likely will, and maybe I'll even do the whole thing where I'll go Infinity Castle and also Sunrise Countdown. But I don't normally do that just because the anime is not caught up, and I don't like kind of going too far. For those who maybe you guys are like me, a little bit more casual, maybe all you do is watch the anime. For me personally, I have read this manga, but for the most part, I don't really do that very often. This was just one of my first animes that I really enjoyed to that point. Yeah, I just wanted to say that really quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed this series as well, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Now, with that said, make sure to leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.